Hello, welcome to The Conversation on News Central Television. This is the program where we bring you up to speed with all the political happenings on the African continent. I am Benga Aboroa.
And I am Rita Omodia. Today on The Conversation, we will be looking at developments in South Africa, where the corruption watchdog has cleared President Ramaphosa of the $580,000 cash farm scandal, which erupted last year.
And later on the show, we will analyse Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's rejection of the report of the European Union on the 2023 general election, saying it's a product of a poorly done desk job. Interesting verdict there. And I wonder why it's coming now, but I guess the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal will give the final verdict on, if the elections were really free and fair.
Definitely. And someone also said that, you paid for the European Commission to have its funding for the elections. And now that you've brought about their reports, you're saying that it's been poorly done. I really look forward to this conversation to see why exactly, or if our guests align with the president's view that the job was quite shady. And meanwhile, in South Africa, I don't know if it's all clear or coast is clear for President Ramaphosa.
It's the same things we've been discussing last year. Like just last week, we talked about the Rwanda-UK deal.
Yeah.
And this Phala Phala scandal is almost unending. And I don't think this is the last we'll hear of it. And I look forward to our conversation to hear the intricate details on the view in South Africa and what is going on. Because quite a number of people have rejected the public prosecutor's verdict.
Definitely, we'll look forward to such conversations. But let's begin in South Africa.
Okay, we begin in South Africa, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is being cleared of allegations of breaching executive ethics in a farm cash scandal, according to the country's corruption watchdog. The scandal emerged last year when the former spy boss accused Ramaphosa of concealing the theft of approximately $4 million in cash from his game farm. However, an investigation by the public prosecutor found no basis to conclude that the president violated relevant clauses of the law. The police are conducting their own investigation into the case, which has raised accusations of money laundering and corruption.
Now, despite the corruption watchdog's findings, the African Transformation Movement, ATM, has rejected the report and maintains that Ramaphosa is guilty of a series of crimes. The ATM president criticized the acting public protector's judgment, calling it flawed and asserting that the president violated the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act. However, the official investigation concluded that Ramaphosa did not contravene the Executive Ethics Code, signaling a favorable outcome for the president in this major scandal. And join us for this conversation, we have Zama Ntshona, a spokesperson, African Transformation Movement, who joins us from East London. Thank you so much for joining us on The Conversation.
Thank you so much. Good day to you and the viewers.
Good day to you also. So let's begin conversations, and I would like you to provide details about the allegations against President Cyril Ramaphosa in the Phala Phala farm cash scandal, including the nature of the breach of executive ethics that was claimed.
Thank you so much. Well, as the African Transformation Movement, as soon as the news broke, we zoomed into this particular story, and we were able to pick up four things. Number one, Section 96, subsection 2B. Members of the cabinet, the president included, and deputy ministers shall not have other paid work. As soon as that was clear, the president, when closing the Limpopo conference, said, I am a farmer, I sell animals, and the money from my farm were proceeds from a game sale. Then he went further to say, some of you seated in this particular conference are my clients. Later on, it was revealed that the president is the sole owner of a closed corporation, which was actually dealing with this particular type of business, meaning that there is no way, even if by the narrow definition that the public protector has used, you can clear the president, because that is a profit-making scheme. Number two, Section 34, subsection 1 of the PRECA Act is very clear. When reporting criminality, it goes on and lists a number of crimes, and it says theft included. You must go to a DPCI office, report the matter, and in reporting the matter, you will then get a case number, logical conclusion, and then you have some of the finest police in the Republic of South Africa investigating the matter. The president, in his Twitter account and in his affidavit, he then confirmed that he did not go to the DPCI office, he did not go to the Hawks nor the SAPS, but he instructed his head of Presidential Protection Unit to actually take care of the matter. Now, failure to report, especially in this issue that includes money, because it is clear in the Constitution, in the PRECA Act, that anything over 100,000 must be taken to a DPCI office, and the failure to do so is what also perturbs us as the African Transformation Movement, that the public protector was not able to actually unearth this in accordance with the findings of the Section 89 Independent Panel. The third issue was the conflict of interest. He's a businessman, he is a president. You would remember there is a video where he is addressing the Angola Association and he says, being the president of the Republic of South Africa is a nice to have, but being the president of the Angola Association is a must have. Clearly, this is a businessman conflicted. And when he issued a directive to his head of Presidential Protection Unit, a government employee, to go and deal with private matter, he was conflicted. And the fourth one is the issuing of an unlawful instruction. And if you look at the Section 89 impeachment...
And what instruction is that, Zama? What unlawful instruction did the president issue?
The unlawful instruction is giving an instruction to a government employee to take care of private business.
Now, Zama, you've listed this 4 instances. Now, I mean, people are wondering, how did the corruption watchdog, the public protector, conduct its own investigations into allegations against President Ramaphosa? What methodologies and sources of evidence were utilized? Because she's given him a clean bill of health, saying he has no case to answer.
The first point of contact, as far as the public protector is concerned, must go to the suspension, the hurried suspension of the actual public protector, who advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. After she delivered the 31 questions, she was suspended. And why am I saying it's hurried? The Western Cape High Court agrees with me that the president was retaliatory when he said the public protector must be suspended. Remember, a DA-sponsored motion to determine fitness to hold office of the public protector was just instituted, and it had not set a day. The design of the Section 194 committee was to find out if the public protector is fit to hold office. Now, as soon as the public protector issued the 31 questions to the President of the Republic of South Africa, before the commission or before the inquiry could sit a day, he had already made the determination. On what basis? You see there, that was when everything went south as far as this investigation is concerned. The president knew that Section 3, subsection 2 of the Executive Members Ethics Act mandates the public protector to give a preliminary report in 30 days. So he knew before the year could end, not even 2 months from the time, the president would have been served. So the president knew that he needed to do something fast, and he was retaliatory when I'm using the language of the court in trying to deal with the public protector, because where he wanted to go was to find the deputy public protector who he knew would find in his favor. Why am I saying this? Since the deputy public protector assumed office, she has been doing favors after favors for the president. Favor number 1, when the president was supposed to submit answers to the 31 questions, we were not involved we were not even informed as the complainants on the matter that there was an extension. We only got to hear about that in the public space via media. And we knew that there was something that was not going to be right here. there was a second deadline. The president did not meet the second deadline again. And then the public protector did a wishy-washy.
Now, Zama, Zama, you're talking about the complicity of the public protector. You also talked about the fact that this theft is not reported. You talk about the president being, complicit, being a businessman, at the same time having the office of the presidency. We also have reports that there have been police investigation concerning this farm heist case. So what is the current update? Is there any information concerning that, or has that been swept under the carpet?
Clearly, from what we are seeing right now, the issue of the clear confessions of the president, how are they not reflected in the report unless swept under the carpet? The clear admissions of this was section 96 subsection 2A, section 34 subsection 1, and the other two. There were clear, not just violations, because you remember, the African Transformation Movement did not take everything. The issue of foreign exchange, we did not include it. We narrow it down to the 4 charges, which are the charges that the independent panel had said, yes, there's a case to answer to. So on the basis of what was in front of the public protector, this was a clear case. This was a clear case that required the public protector to just issue the remedial actions, because the president had actually he collaborated what we were actually raising as the African Transformation Movement. Now, when you look at the conduct of the public protector, you see that the public protector was here to bend over backwards to protect the president and nothing else.
Now, for the sake of our viewers, 2 questions here. Could you explain the role of the public prosecutor? Is it meant to be independent of the government? And number 2, President Ramaphosa and his team, they're not here to defend themselves, but how did the president explain the purpose of the stolen cash? Can you provide more information about the buffaloes he claimed were bought by a Sudanese businessman in exchange for the money?
Thank you so much. The public protector is there to ensure, in this particular case, that violations of the Executive Members Ethics Act are actually thoroughly investigated, and remedial actions that are apportioned or that are equal to the violation are given to the executive, whoever that has violated in the executive. And also, the public protector in this particular case is the only institution empowered to deal with the violations of the Executive Members Ethics Act and be able to give the remedial actions that are equal to the violations. So in this case, what was required was that the public protector looks at the allegations, looks at the admissions of the president, and then determine the extent of the violation. If it is a violation that warrants impeachment, and then the public protector would have given us a remedial action that speaks to that. But there is no way with the admissions of the president that the public protector could find differently. This is why we are saying this is a compromised public protector. This is a compromise that is allowing itself to be used. This is a public protector who is not objective, not impartial, but works to defend not the public of South Africa, but the president himself. Then the latter part, all right, yes?
Yeah, what did the president say? What has he said about his defense?
The president, in his affidavit, widely publicized, he agrees that he has entered into a business transaction with a Sudanese businessman who his buffaloes, by the way, though were paid in full in 2020, have not been collected till today. The president corroborated that. The president corroborated that he did not go to a DPCI office to actually report the matter. In his affidavit, he corroborates that. The president did say that on these matters, though he believes that he is an individual who is not accounting for both a businessman, because he's trying to use the issue of declaring in parliament. But he knows very well, because back in 2014, he wrote a letter that shows understanding of the Executive Members Ethics Act, especially on members of the cabinet not undergoing other paid work. And he said he was going to disinvest is not disinvested, is the sole owner of the property. And the property was not declared a national key point. There were no police guarding it, and it was a private business. And therefore, any invasion was not a breach of security. Any invasion was a burglary like no other. But the issue is that, one, he had no business issuing instructions to public servants to take care of private business.
Okay. Now, Zama, there have been series of contradictions with this Phala Phala fam case. We had one from the Parliament Independent Panel, which concluded that Ramaphosa may have committed serious violations and misconduct. But at the same time, we did not see the Parliament initiate any impeachment proceedings for the president. So what specific actions or evidence or conclusions led to all of this?
Number one, the African Transformation, in fact, not the African Transformation Movement, the ruling party. The ruling party, when going to the vote on the adoption of the report, held a meeting and gave an instruction to its members, who are supposed to be independent members of parliament. We have taken an oath of office as individuals, but gave an ultimatum to them. You vote the way we want you to vote, or you lose your livelihoods. And there were threats as well to lives. There were SMSs that were flying around that say, if you vote with the ATM, we will deal with you accordingly. There were threats to life. Now, because of that, you couldn't have had an outcome that allows members of parliament to be independent in their thinking, to be objective in their thinking, to use their oath of office and integrity to vote accordingly. That's number one. This is why we believe that even in this particular case, in fact, let me finish that. So there was interference there from the highest office, the presidency, the NEC, instructing members of the ANC to vote in a particular way and not allowing them to be independent thinking cadres with the ability to think and the ability to do. Two, the suspension of the public protector, which now has become apparent with the trajectory of a number of things that have happened over the time. You cannot distance what we saw in Parliament, and we think that it is far-fetched for the president or the ANC to put pressure on the public protector. Look at how she has been conducting herself. You see that she is not acting in a manner that is independent. She is bending over backwards to accommodate the president, and that shouldn't be the case. So these are some of the milestones I'm bringing forth, which I say they shouldn't have been in this particular way. The Parliament of South Africa spent over 5 million rand to produce that report that was never even considered the merits and demerits of the report. Because what was interested, or what Parliament or the majority in Parliament was interested in, was to make sure that they shove this thing under the carpet so that it never sees the time of day. Same applies with what is happening. The conduct of the public protector right now is giving us those vibes.
Now, Zama, your party, the African Transformation Movement, did raise this petition in the first place. Are there any other political parties or organizations that have voiced their opinions on the public protector's findings? What's the position of the DA and the EFF? And how do their positions differ from those of the ATM?
Currently, the Democratic Alliance, which sponsored the motion of the removal of the actual public protector, is taking this report to court with us. We are taking this report on review. It is not going to be the end of this. Phala Phala cannot disappear in this fashion. The DA is on board on that. You'd remember that it is one of our fierce critics, but it agrees with us on this matter. The EFF has always been on board. If you remember, when we voted on the impeachment motion, though the African Transformation Movement has about 2 seats in the National Assembly, but we had over 158 votes on the given day, as a number of political parties said this Phala Phala thing is something that must be looked into. A president cannot do as he pleases. The number of parties in parliament that agree with us, and there were a number of people in the ruling party when we were voting that voted for the motion, which shows that even in the ruling party, people think that the president has done something wrong.
Now, Zama, still looking at all of this, we would like to know what exactly is the public's perception. I mean, there's been a lot of scandal against President Ramaphosa. We're seeing elections coming up in 2024 next year. What impact has this had on the reputation of the president, Ramaphosa? Because the ANC still gave a vote of confidence on him despite all of the scandal going on. So what is the public perception? What impact has it had, this scandal and the subsequent investigation, on President Ramaphosa's candidacy?
Thank you so much. What history tells us is that the ANC is not afraid of scandals. Well, the ANC engineers scandals. The ANC thinks that the brand is so strong that it would wither the storm. The ANC thinks that because it has majority, it can always bulldoze its way and takes anybody on regardless of merit. That is what I can tell you. But the people of South Africa have shown since we are now at the 30-year mark as far as our democracy is concerned, 29 going to 30th. And we have seen a decline as far as votes are concerned. More people are realizing that the so-called liberation movement is not so glorious anymore. A number of people are looking into the African National Congress, and they are seeing that it is no longer a leader of society, no longer a preferred leader and liberator of society. Now, public perception right now, you can definitely see that a number of people have already gone and seen right through the fictitious narrative of the African National Congress that seeks to only destroy what we have as South Africans, a constitutional democracy that is based on accountability. They try to use their majority to bulldoze, and the people of this country see that. On the second part, the people also see through the office of the public protector. You'd remember that the previous public protector, Advocate Mkhwebane, was able to process close to 60,000 cases with a 95% success rate and 3 clean audits, the first for that office, which did not warrant what we saw, which is a fitness to hold office. And the current public protector does everything she can to clear the president, and the people are losing confidence in the current public protector because we see that this is not a public protector based on integrity, objectivity, and interest of the rule of law. And because of that, slowly but surely, the people are seeing that this is the decay of what was once a prestigious office, which was able to give us just what we needed as South Africans, a Chapter 9 institution that is able to deal with the challenges of society and also hold government accountable.
Now, finally, Zama, before we let you go, what's the next step? You did say that the African Transformation Movement and the Democratic Alliance go into court, because this, you said in your words, is not the end of a Phala Phala a scandal. And the police, I do understand, are conducting their own investigations. Is there a timeline to this? And when do we expect to hear a statement from your team, and when are you going to court?
Thank you so much. As we are speaking right now, our legal team is busy drafting documents, starting the judgment, or yes, let's say the judgment or the remedial actions of the public protector, the outcomes of an investigation. And they are now going to do what needs to be done, put together papers necessary and seek audience to the High Court in South Africa so that we are able to overturn the senseless finding by the public protector, this baseless finding by the public protector. So we do expect that within the next 14 days or so, we would have been able to put together a solid case around this issue, and having been able to forward it to the necessary powers that be. And we hope that sooner or later, this matter would be back at the hands of the public protector with only one thing to do, to determine the remedial actions and nothing else.
Thank you very
All
much,
right.
Zama Ntshona, spokesperson, African Transformation Movement, joining us live from East London in South Africa. We do appreciate your time and insight, and we look forward to having you back next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're watching The Conversation on News Central Television. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, Nigerian government rejects EU EOM report on 2020 elections. We'll bring you details of this and more. You stay with us.